The name of the book is The Disconnected Man, Breaking Down Walls and Restoring Intimacy with Him, with Jim Turner, my guest. So, Jim, you're one of those disconnected men. Your wife said, "That's it, I'm out of here." That must have just been a horrible thing.
Yeah, you know, it's tragic, and I can say formerly disconnected man trying to learn to connect, right? But her leaving wasn't my wake-up call, believe it or not. After she left, I still thought, okay, what's wrong with her?
Oh, okay.
I never thought anything was wrong with me. And it wasn't until my best friend at the time sat down with me for a cup of coffee in a cafe and looked me in the eye. And he's this kind of guy, Greg, that can literally drill through you with his fingertip. He's just intense like that, right? So we're sitting just like you and I are here in a cafe, and he looks at me straight in the eye and he says, "Jim, I think you could get up from this table, walk out that door, and never think of me, never miss me, and never have me in your life again, and be just fine with it."
I know when I was reading that, I'm going, whoa, that's either a good friend or my worst enemy.
Yeah.
How did you respond to that?
You know, I tried to kind of stutter a response to that, like, no, that can't be me, right? But I knew inside me, this is one of those Holy Spirit moments when the Holy Spirit says, "This is for you, pay attention," right? And I just knew it. I knew that that was what God was trying to show me, from my wife leaving to, you know, this conversation with my friend. And it was from that moment on, I left the cafe that day and I kept asking myself, what is wrong with me? And that was the question that just kept going through my mind after that time. So it hit home.
So you weren't defensive, but you were starting to do that sort of self-analysis.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at first I wanted to be defensive, but it was, like I said, it was one of those Holy Spirit moments where, okay, don't defend yourself here, because this is you. Own this and then do something about it. And that's where, you know, I call it the dark night of my soul, where I just went through weeks, maybe months of just figuring out what's going on and having the Lord show me. And that's kind of where the book came from, is my time alone with the Lord, and then my time learning how to connect so that I could then write something about it. Right?
How long was the process?
It's still going on.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's for all of us, right?
Yeah. I mean, and that's the big thing about disconnected men, is they really have to be taught. And one of the things we run into with women a lot, their relationship with their disconnected man, is a woman expects for a man to be able to be intimate with her,
Right.
emotional with
Sure.
her. That was the promise when they got married, right? And then over the years, he's not able to do that. And they say, "What's wrong with you?" Well, what we try to help women understand a lot is that, okay, instead of pointing the finger and saying, "What's wrong with you?" you really have to start teaching this guy, because he doesn't know how. And that's what I found out about myself.
I know when I went kind of through that process about 7 years ago and finally went to get some counseling, I didn't realize how disconnected I was emotionally. I love, I love my wife, I love my kids, the things that I'm doing, my friends or whatever. What I really appreciate about this book, and it is a great read, and we're just barely touching these things, but you write it for both the men and for the women.
Yeah.
And as I've been reading it, I'm going, okay, that's what my wife is expecting out of me. And then going back to the man, said, this is what's expected of you. But then the wife has the opportunity to go, oh, that's why he's acting that way.
Yeah, and that's great to hear that came out of the book, because that's exactly what we wanted to do, is we wanted to give women hope. And then we wanted to challenge the men. Say, men, you can't be this way anymore, because that's not the way Jesus was. Jesus has intimate relationships with us, and you're the picture of Jesus for your family and for the community around you. You can no longer walk in this disconnected way. You've got to get intimate with one another.
But this is a part of our culture, Jim, though. I mean, again, I thought I was fine. And most guys guys, if you're listening today, really do pay attention to this. You might think you're doing great, but maybe that's not the case. So there is some obstacles to get over to help men to reconnect.
Yeah, there are a lot of obstacles.
Or connect.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of obstacles. You got to get out of that mentality where, okay, I bring home my paycheck, I'm there all the time and all of that, and so I've done my duty.
You've
right?
checked the boxes.
Yeah, yeah, I've done my duty. That's not enough because that's not what Jesus did. What Jesus did was get into people's hearts. And if men can't do that, then women end up saying, who's Jesus, right? Since we're the picture of him in their lives. So yeah, we have to learn how to become emotional, intimate, that sort of thing. And that's a long road for a lot of guys.
I know you're now remarried. You have 10 children between you. You've got a grandchild. You're out there trying to help men, connect with their families, with their wife. And, it's a very important book, The Disconnected Man. Again, it's, both to women and to men. And because, again, the heart of what Jim is talking about is that families would be strong. That's really how we bring glory to Jesus. So thank you again, Jim, for coming up and seeing us today, and continued doing what you're doing.
All right. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll be back with more of 100 Huntley Street right after this.